Back to the Pick Six channel, and today I will be giving just a brief little recap on the Steelers and the Ravens game. The Steelers won 17-10 in a very, very sloppy looking game by the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, the Ravens did not look good. They had a lot of miscues. They had drop passes. Lamar Jackson picked off the ball through one or two interceptions, I think. I don't really know. I think it was two. Might have been one. I don't know. But they were just having miscues and drop passes. And they were still dominating the game. They were still dominating most of the game. At least the first half. They were definitely dominating the first half. Baltimore was dominating on every aspect of the game in the first half, except the scoreboard. Doesn't even make sense, but but that's what I saw. That's what was really going on. If it weren't for the miscues, man, you're looking at least a 2, maybe even 3 possession game at the half. Okay? Baltimore I don't know what was up with Baltimore. They just didn't look good. And they were still dominating. It just still felt like they were dominating. The Steelers did have a fumble. They did cash in on a turnover, and the Steelers were able to get 3 points off of that, which that's actually a pretty big deal, considering that Baltimore was moving the ball in that drive too. But, I mean, still, it just seemed like Baltimore had full control of the game, except for catching passes. Man, I tell you, those receivers were dropping balls like if it was New Year's Eve, man, in October. It was just bad. It was just bad. I was talking to a Raven fan today, and I was like, I just couldn't believe the game I watched. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't... It just didn't seem like a Steeler-Raven game. But it did at the same time. It just, like, nothing about this game made sense. How bad Baltimore looked. How bad Pittsburgh looked. They just weren't making mistakes like Baltimore was. It was just weird. It was a very sloppy game. At least for Baltimore. Pittsburgh just didn't look good on offense. That's really it. But yeah, man, the Steelers defense didn't really start looking good until that second half, I would say. Because first half, they only gave up 10 points because miscues by the Ravens offense. And they did have a controversial call at the end of the first half where they should have kicked the field goal, but they wound up going for it on 4th down. Didn't get it. And that's what made it a 10-3 game at the end of the half. You know, or at the half. I would have kicked the field goal there, made it a 10-point game, because the Steelers offense wasn't doing anything at all. And, you know, with all the miscues and all, you still have a 10-point lead at the half. That seems pretty good to me. But second half, Steelers defense did turn it up a notch, did start playing pretty good football. In all aspects, you know, Baltimore seemed like they couldn't get the running game going anymore. Passing game just wasn't really there anymore. Steelers defense was controlling the game. As for the offense, another atrocious game. If we're being honest here, another atrocious game, man. They had a short-ish field for that fumble, and I forgot what happened, but they only turned it into 3 points. But I mean, I guess you could, you know, give the offense credit for scoring there. They did push the ball a little better this game. The only problem is when they started getting towards midfield or past midfield, they just started going backwards for some reason. I don't know why. I did just the play calls or what, but they just started going backwards when they started going towards midfield. And yeah, man, it just wasn't pretty. Dude, this wasn't a good game. This wasn't a pretty game. I'm not saying it wasn't a good game. kept me on the edge of my seat most of the time, or kept me standing because I don't really sit down watching football games, but it kept me standing most of the time or during that second half. But I mean, it just was a very sloppy game. Baltimore just, it says a lot more about Baltimore than it does about Pittsburgh. Okay, Pittsburgh, I would like to think hasn't played their best football, but that's kind of a conversation for another time. Baltimore for damn sure didn't play their best football on Sunday. For damn sure. Okay. So, I mean, I don't expect Baltimore to look that bad anymore this season. I would like to think that. And this is coming from a Steeler fan. So, we'll see how that goes, man. But, yeah, offense just wasn't getting anything going. That block punt for a safety was cool, man. I don't know why. Those things excite me a lot. I guess because you don't see them that often. So when you see it, it's like mind-blowing. And Steelers did move the ball pretty well in the last 2 drives or 3 drives, I believe, that they had. One of them, it just kind of stalled out into a field goal, into a chip shot field goal. And the other one was Pickett to Pickens for a touchdown. Oh, yeah. That was really the decider there. And there is some weirdness that happened. I know I'm saying weird a lot, but that's kind of the root to this game, okay? After that play happened, or right after that play happened, like the reaction, everybody in the box, I don't really know how to explain it, but everybody on the Steelers team was kind of pumped up, kind of hyped, like, oh yeah, high-fiving each other, everything like that. Matt Canada looked pissed. He looked pissed and confused because Kenny Pickett called an audible. He saw that they were only having George Pickett's one-on-one, and he challenged the corner, and Pickens beat him and scored a touchdown. Pickett took a chance. He saw something, and he took a chance, and it worked. My question is, why was Matt Canada, looking frustrated? Why wasn't he not celebrating? Here's how I see it. Your young QB saw a bit of a soft spot in the defense, took a chance, and it worked. Not only did it work, it worked for 6 points. I would have been excited if I was Canada, so I don't know why that was his reaction. But, I mean, there's a lot of speculation going on with Matt Canada, and we'll kind of talk about that later. But as for this, man, in all reality, the Steelers won this game because the Ravens lost. That's the best way I could put it there, guys. I don't know. It was a weird game to watch. Okay? One of the weirdest games I've watched as a Steelers fan. Okay? So, yeah. Steelers won that game because the Ravens lost. It's like that meme, She only won because I lost. That's really the sum up of this game. But Steelers are at 3-2 going into their bye week. And don't really like that. But 3-2 going into the bye week atop of the AFC North after 5 weeks, for whatever that means. They're 2-0 in the AFC North. And yeah, I would like to think they haven't played their best football, but I'll kind of give a bit of my thoughts on how I feel about the Steelers going into the bye week in another video. As for this one, man, it's always good to see the Steelers win. But, I mean, I can't say I'm impressed. I just can't say I'm impressed. Okay? It wasn't impressive football by the Steelers, if I'm being quite honest here. But I'll take the win. It's not very pretty, but I'll take it, man. Other than that, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and go Steelers.